Quick reminder, mark your calendar for January 8th. That is the day the coupon code for the amazing courses linked down below and the bundle options does expire. Remember, you can use the coupon on the bundles as well on the page down below. Check those out for stocks, real estate, private live streams, everything. Hey everyone, Meet Kevin here. Wow, today is the big day that we have been waiting for. It is January 5th. And it is a crazy, or going to be a crazy day. Let's talk about expectations. Let's talk about future stimulus, $2,000 stimulus checks, and issues with current stimulus. First, today, hopefully, we will know who controls the Senate. The reason I say hopefully is because polls close at 7 p.m. Eastern time, but this election is slated to be a nail-biter, and this election could end up with ballots getting counted throughout the evening. Especially with all the fraud claims going on in Georgia, there will be extra scrutiny, and this could slow down counting, which is fine. We want there to be extra scrutiny, but we also want an answer today. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. I'm sure I'll be live streaming this for the sake of being transparent. Again, I think this is a good thing. So far, early voting shows a Democratic edge with less Republican early voting than usual in certain districts. The betting odds also have Democrats in favor of sweeping. And one of the reasons I like looking at betting odds instead of like polls is because, certain demographics don't respond to polls as frequently as other demographics, which oftentimes tends to favor Democrats in polls. But beyond polls, when you look at the betting odds, these are people that are like, yeah, I'm going to take $500 of my own money and make a bet that Democrats or Republicans are going to win. That can sometimes be a pretty good indicator of which way things are actually going to go. Not always, obviously. We'll see, though. Either way, I will hold a live stream later, so check for that. You might not get a notification. You might just have to look Meet Kevin, probably around 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be live. All right, moving on. I'm very excited that we can finally put this to bed, because I feel like since the election, all we've been focused on is January 5th, and it's finally here, so it's kind of exciting. Remember, this election will tell us who controls the Senate. Will it be Mitch McConnell, a Republican, or will it be Chuck Schumer, a Democrat, giving Democrats nearly complete control of the government? We will hopefully know tonight. I'm joking because I don't know if we actually will. We will see. Now, many of you have also been asking me, especially in the comments, in the live stream comments, what are the Democratic priorities that Republicans so desperately want to firewall block? Well, here are a few that we heard from Joe Biden yesterday and Jon Ossoff. Yesterday, Joe Biden said $2,000 stimulus checks if Democrats win. To me, this sounds very much like what a student body president would say, ice cream for everyone, every day, for free, if we win. Who knows? But Joe Biden did make that promise yesterday. If Democrats win, there will be $2,000 stimulus checks, which is surprising because Joe Biden has literally been silent on $2,000 stimulus checks since the entire debacle unfolded right before Christmas with Donald Trump blocking the bill and blah, blah, blah. Just yesterday, though, out of nowhere, he drops this bomb that, maybe as a last-minute play to get an edge over Republicans, but drops the bomb. If we get elected, we'll do $2,000 stimulus checks. Okay, it's a big promise. We'll see what happens. Now, this isn't necessarily different or too terribly different, I should say, from what was previously promised. Because remember this, before the $600 tiny checks, Joe Biden said in January, late January, we'll do $1,200 checks. If we combine those, that's a total of $1,800. Well, if he does $2,000 as an amendment of the $600, then really you're just talking about getting an extra $200, right? $1,200 plus $600 is $1,800. If he says, hey, we'll do the $2,000 checks if we get elected, and they just amend the $600 to $2,000, well, then you're really just sending an extra $200. We don't know, though, what Joe Biden will end up doing. It is entirely possible that Joe Biden could mean an entire $2,000 on top of the $600. That'd be great, but we don't know if it would be the amendment route or the full route. Anyway, this is one of the promises. Other promises, we got Jon Ossoff telling us that other priorities, at least, maybe not promises, are $15 for minimum wage, larger Pell Grants for public education, more green infrastructure, not necessarily the Green New Deal, but the Biden New Deal. We'll have to look into the differences of those. I plan to make a video one day on that. Then, maybe after we find out what happens with this election. Then, from prior Democratic speeches, we also know that other priorities include banning fracking on federal lands, raising the corporate tax rate, raising taxes on those making more than $400,000. Some of those taxes, or some taxes like capital gains, could end up affecting those who make less money. Republicans, as expected, plan to block all of these priorities, unless there's some compromise. We'll see how that goes, depending on how this election goes. Keep in mind as well that if Republicans maintain, or in order to maintain the Senate, Republicans need to win just one seat. Democrats need to win both seats. Now, tomorrow will also be a nail-biter as Trump holds a rally in D.C. The National Guard is expected to be there with 600 troops, and the election gets certified by Congress, which could end up being a 2-day-long event depending on how many people object in Congress. We already know there are a list of people who are ready to object. Somewhere between 5 and 10 objections are expected. Each objection takes a few hours to deal with, so we'll see how the next couple days go. On the current state of stimulus, there are a ton of issues with people getting notifications that checks are being deposited into accounts with their social security number as the last few digits. Now, old school CARES Act times, that meant that your tax or your stimulus check was going to the person who did or the company that did your taxes, like H&R Block or TurboTax, and that was a way for them to keep track of your payment. Then they would take their fees and they would send you the balance. Now, it appears that if your social security number is showing up as the last few digits of the account number that your payment's going into, there are apparently some issues, no guarantees, but there are apparently some issues that are not good that could be related to you. Apparently, the Bank of Santa Barbara, TPG, works a lot with TurboTax. There's some connection here. And apparently, they are getting a ton of stimulus checks, like millions, deposited to them from the Treasury Department. But Santa Barbara TPG is saying, yeah, no, we're not processing any stimulus checks this year, and they're literally rejecting them all back to the Treasury Department. The problem with this is when you reject a deposit, sometimes it takes up to 10 days for these deposits to re-clear as rejected. Then the Treasury gets the money back, and then they can issue a paper check. So it is possible that in some of these circumstances, if your payment goes to the wrong account, there's the wrong account showing up, or it's your social, it is possible we might have to wait until inauguration week to see our mailed stimulus check. Now, the Get My Payment portal should update to reflect that at some point over the next couple weeks, but it might not be until those payments actually clear, which is very frustrating. Remember, the Get My Payment portal only updates every 24 hours, so you only have to check it once a day. The same thing, by the way, is happening if you had fees taken out of your refund through Republic Bank or Santa Barbara Bank. These are banks, again, refusing to process payments. H&R Block, as if we couldn't have more issues, H&R Block also switched their payment accounts, which is leading to many rejections at H&R Block. So bottom line, if your account number is different or you don't recognize it or it's your social, you'll probably get a check in the mail. Very frustrating, and obviously, sorry about that delay. If your status is also not available through the payment portal, if you actually got through the portal, you might not have been processed yet, so stay tuned. Just check every 24 hours, or you might not be eligible. Keep in mind, I, for example, used my 2018 tax return, and I closed a business in 2018, and I had a negative tax return because of this money-losing business that I closed. So I got a stimulus check from the first round. But now when I log into the Get My Payment portal, because I've already filed my 2019 taxes and I'm not eligible in the least bit, which, by the way, I donated my first stimulus check. But anyway, now I know I'm not eligible, but I checked anyway. It gives me the same status, that status not available, you're not eligible, or we haven't processed you yet. I know that I'm not eligible, so this lines up. The SBA is expected to release PPP information tomorrow. A new PPP application is already available, but many companies have not opened PPP application portals just yet, so still waiting there. Same thing for EIDL, rental relief, save our stages, still waiting. While you wait, though, make sure to go to metkevin.com/rental relief to find out which agencies cover or will potentially cover rental relief for your area. You can also go to metkevin.com/low income to find out if you are in a low income tract for that EIDL grant. It's not clear if you have to live in that tract or work in that tract, waiting for guidance, obviously, from the good old EIDL. In the meantime, use that coupon code down below. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I really appreciate you being here. Share the video, subscribe if you found it helpful, and folks, we will see you in the very next video. Thanks again, and until next time.